Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Spidey Studios here, and today I am back with the homie Savion, and we are checking out a new-ish show on the channel. New-ish because it came out last year. This is season 2 of My Adventures with Superman, episodes 1 and 2, but we are gonna watch them individually. Obviously, we're starting with the first episode. So it has been, I believe, 8 months since the last season came out. I believe so. It wasn't that long ago, but it came by a lot faster than the Invincible season. And I think it's just because they finished it a while ago, and then they started working on season 2 right after that, so they kind of were already finished with it.
And then they did I get the business side of it, but they literally dropped like a few episodes, and then months went by, and then they dropped the rest.
What? Oh yeah, I think it was.
I don't like when shows do that because you kind of lose the momentum.
Yeah, you lose the momentum and you lose the interest in that. Like, it just is hard to do that. But I think it also because they animate it differently. I think.
Was it different this season?
Like, the animation is the same as last season, is just a bit more updated, but I think they animate it differently than standard shows and animations. So that's probably why, but I don't know. But yeah, let me check. So the last episode, came out 8 months ago. So that was the final episode of season 1. So this show came out 3 weeks after Superman and Lois dropped the final episode of season 3. And I had a lot of high expectations going into this season, going into the first season of the show. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was much more lighthearted than Superman and Lois, but it was still good. Like, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of the changes that they made to, like, Clark's powers, in the sense of how every power-up he has, he turns, like, blue electricity like he used to do when they did that whole stupid 2 Superman split thing where Superman was blue and red. I forgot what the red's powers was, but the blue ones was electricity powers. So it's similar to that. But I also like... One of the things I also really like about this show is how they show his weakness to kryptonite. His weakness to kryptonite is much more painful in this show than it is in any other version of Superman to me. And I think it's just because, like, either the kryptonite, like, comes out of his hand or it, like, goes through his veins. And I actually like that change. But also it affects the Kryptonian technology too, which is another thing that we found out about in the last episode of last season. But last season, we got a good amount of villains. We got Livewire, we got Silver Banshee, we got Heatwave, we got Deathstroke, Parasite, and whoever the big dude was that was with Silver Banshee. I forgot what his name was. That guy, and then, what was his name? Roughhouse, I think was his name. And then we got the General and Amanda Waller. And it was kind of just like a Suicide Squad of Superman and Flash-ish villains, which was pretty cool. I thought that was really interesting. And then after that, the ending of the season teased a couple of things for this season. Jimmy is now rich. He sold his YouTube stream to the Daily Planet for $5.6 million. So Jimmy's rich this season, so I'm curious how he's going to do with the money that he has now. Clark and Lois have officially become a couple. We found out that the General was General Sam Lane, which was to be expected. We found out that Zod and Brainiac are on the other side of the galaxy, still conquering planets, and they're going to be coming to Earth probably this season. We also found out a little bit about Jor-El. Another interesting thing that I thought was interesting is that Jor-El the entire season spoke in Kryptonian, so we had no idea what he was saying, and Clark doesn't understand him, which I also found interesting, but I also like that change, because one, it makes sense. It's not like they would speak English, let's be real, one. And two, I actually really liked that it wasn't Jor-El that pushed Clark to be a superhero, it was more so Clark decided to do that himself. Or his dad didn't really push him to, or Jonathan didn't push him to be a superhero. It was more so just him wanting to be a superhero himself. So I really like that change. I'm curious if they're going to find a way to make him speak English this season, because I know Jor-El is in this season. So I wonder if he's going to still speak Kryptonian, or he's going to find a way to speak English. I guess we'll have to find out. But then the biggest thing is is there going to be a Fortress of Solitude? Because like Jor-El was only in the spaceship, which they blew up last season. So I don't know how we're still going to hear him. So I'm curious what's going to go. But yeah, so I saw the trailer. I know you saw it, but you don't remember too much from it.
I'll say I don't know. I know I saw a long one, so I didn't see the teaser.
That was probably just the official.
Was Supergirl in the
she was teased in the teaser, but you didn't see her. In the official trailer, you saw her.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I must have saw a clip, but I did see the trailer.
Yeah. So, we're supposed to get like a boatload of villains this season. So, I'm curious how they're going to handle all of that. But
how do you feel about some of the iteration of the characters they've been using?
In terms of, if we're going with the main characters, Clark, Lois, and Jimmy, I really like Clark's depiction in this show. He's much more lighthearted, goofy, funny. He's more unsure of himself, but that kind of makes sense, especially in his early days. But I also really like how he wants to be a superhero simply because it's just the right thing to do, and not like something where we've seen in other iterations where it's not pushed on him, but more so encouraged on him by like his parents to be a superhero. It's more so his own choice, which I appreciate. I really like Jimmy a lot in this. Like, I think this is by far my favorite Jimmy ever. Because I like Jimmy in the original 90s show, but I felt like he was only in that and only for like a few episodes that they really focus on him. Otherwise, he was kind of there. Like, he didn't really get that much to do. And then, like, outside of that, he never appeared in Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, so you kind of forgot about him at that point.
I mean, he was never going to appear.
Yeah. So, and then, like, in other versions of Jimmy, he's always just been there, but he's never been, like, a focus. My only issue...
it's kind of funny because, I don't know, like, I get he's important to the lore of Superman, but, like, outside the comics, no media has really, like, portrayed it to be that. Like, and that's fine.
He's been a good character, but it's like...
But I think people got to realize, like, I don't, I like Jimmy, but, like, Lois, the Kents are just way more important than him in terms of, like, you can do a Superman story without him, but you can't do one without them.
My thing is that I want Jimmy to get more focus because he's literally Superman's best friend outside of
Peter
Batman.
Parker without the powers.
Like outside of like Batman and Wonder Woman, his only normal friend is Jimmy. That's his only, like, if you want to count Pete, but, like, Pete is, like, forgettable after Smallville. Like, because, like, Pete Ross was a character, I believe, who was in, like, the original comics, but he didn't get, like, an actual focus until the Smallville show came out. And then they gave him more comic book appearances. Yeah, but, like, they gave him more comic book appearances because of his popularity in that show. But then after that, he was just gone. Like, they didn't do anything with him. So, he's, like, referenced, but, like, you don't really...
He's referenced in this?
No, like, he's referenced in, like, Superman and Lois. Like, he's referenced in that. Like, when Lana talks about... Like, mostly just, like, flashbacks when they talk about, like, their life previously. But, like, yeah. Otherwise, he's kind of just forgettable.
The Black Jimmy, really the best iteration. Everybody hated the image of him when they first teased him.
Yeah, because, like, his look just did not look good. I think it's just the animation style that they went with. It just didn't look good to me. But it looked better in the official show. But yeah, like, I would say the only two Jimmys I really did not like was Supergirl's version and Batman vs. Superman's version. Those are the only two I disliked because in that was the first time they made him black. And he looks nothing like Jimmy whatsoever. Hey, it's just...
Imagine Jimmy was like, I'm taking care of her now. You
like,
hey, yo.
He essentially was that character. Like, I'm just like, bro, he's... And then my biggest issue is that how is Jimmy in that, like, Clark's best friend, but he's buffer and bigger than he is?
Is he Guardian in the comics or no?
No. Guardian, I think, was another character, but they just did that just because...
We can get to
and they just did that because he's just too big, but it's just like...
We can get to the show.
Yeah, but anyway.
We don't want to make the intro too long.
But anyway, I really love the depiction of all the characters, so I just want to see what we get into.
The villains, to me, is probably the only thing
I don't like that they made them all tech-based. But I think Livewire is the only one that has organic powers now because of her lightning abilities.
But I don't like that Deathstroke design, bro.
I thought it was decent. I think that it's still the same design they're going to use this season, which, I mean, is fine. But It's no big deal. He's not a huge focus. This is Deathstroke against Superman we're talking about. Like, he's not going to be heavily
See
focused
nobody
on.
complaining about that.
Some people did. Some people did.
It's not as much as other
But,
adaptations.
yeah. But anyway, we're going to jump right in. We're
I
going to
thought
see
that
what
was
they...
a Teen Titans villain.
We're going to jump right in. We're going to see what they gave us this season. So without further ado, let's... Please. Please. Okay. People like him now.
No. You're not their son. And you'll never be human.
Again? He had a nightmare last season. It was really good.
There is another like you,
Oh!
but we are running out of time.
I like Jarrell's look a lot.
Like the animation.
Yes, what?
Why is she still here? Don't you have like your own desk now?
Oh, I forgot about that. They got promoted, right?
Yeah. Because like, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure he probably
the morning
does.
pitch meeting. I'm late!
Happy Valentine's Day,
My
everyone!
man's is
And
flexing
you
his
get a card,
riches,
and
bro.
You get a card and
Jimmy, how much did you spend on these?
Clark, as I'm now one of the bosses at the Daily Planet, head of the Flamebird video division,
Oh,
I
okay.
have to set an example. Money is no object.
Did
Pick
that.
up Lois's favorite ramen, extra spicy for her, mild for me. Then we'll sit on the roof of the Daily Planet and watch the
It's not
sunset.
gonna burn you.
Sit on the roof.
It's...
On a second Valentine's Day, you must go all out for the first. A grand romantic gesture is the only way to go.
Person.
Look, I can call my car guy for you.
Didn't they go
He
on their
doesn't
first
understand.
date?
I don't think
It was sweet while it lasted,
This
honey.
guy
No,
great,
it'll be fine, right?
Sure it will.
Why is Perry
Because
here?
no one's going anywhere. Valentine's Day is canceled.
Damn.
Email of the Gotham Gazette
Oh,
has
yeah,
scooped
fuck
us
her.
on every major news story for months, and I'm sick of it. I need
And she actually
pictures, people.
used them to make
Death from
to
above!
get a story.
My old college classmate Hank is
According
the
to him,
Hank
Hank
Henshaw?
an unusual meteoroid for the last.
Is that who that is?
A meteoroid that, if it's
Oh,
Because he looked just like Clark.
crashed into
Perry. Pear.
Don't call me that.
I kind of wish that was his dad in the show. I'm not gonna
you.
lie. That- I think that would have been great.
Two black people in this show.
Yeah.
The Amazo Tech jump drive ship. Starting
Amazo.
Why are they still making Amazotech shit? Isn't he arrested?
Okay.
No, what should I do about tonight? Everyone thought my plans were,
Bad? Boring? A great way to end your relationship?
begging me to work here.
Maybe you should have thought of that before you helped Ivo build that suit and destroy Metropolis.
Yeah, that's who that is. We also know who he is now.
Give you a chance.
I assume because like they called him Alex last season, and they actually said the producers said themselves they couldn't use Lex at all at
And
first,
eventually,
and they wanted a no Lex man.
Soon, flying the wife to
Yeah,
Paris.
just as buff as Clark.
He
Real
just
romantic
looks like
gestures.
him, just with a different skin tone.
Right, pal?
I'm pretty sure they do that on
You
purpose.
said
We
this
did manage to get a picture of it before it blipped out over Antarctica. Here.
Oh shit!
It's my spaceship.
What? What? How do you know?
I saw a vision of it this morning, and then again 2 seconds ago. I thought it was a dream, but now
Someone needs to keep you safe.
and I'll rent us a plane. Let's
Bro,
go.
absolutely not.
Man,
Look,
it's not
you
making-
lost $1 million doing that. Come on, my guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
You just lose them already? Hello, Jarrell.
Okay, hold it.
Yes.
I've never seen somebody fly backwards like that.
What was that? Oh shit.
How did I get in here?
Yes, the kryptonite.
Sure, he went this way?
I am now. Look!
Oh. I guess this is gonna be the fortress.
He was already stressed out about Valentine's Day, and now this happens.
Wait, it's Valentine's Day?
You forgot?
How you forget about Valentine's
Good
Day?
question, but wasn't there a...
Kal-El. Philo.
Can you just speak English?
Which
please?
question would you like me to answer first?
Okay, there you go.
You can speak English now?
A program containing a scan of your father's mind. It's what I tried to explain to you when you first unlocked the ship. And then you buried me and refused to speak to me for over a decade. The Kryptonian Empire had conquered and spread across the stars like a disease until we found an enemy we could not defeat. Our empire was falling to a war of its own making.
Yeah.
You are the last of us, Kal-El. You and your cousin.
Cousin?
Zor-El, my brother, and your cousin.
Was she a baby too? Wait,
I'm not alone?
that would mean that they're the same age.
Away. Oh. The coast is clear, General.
Who was that?
Excellent work, Damage. Collect as much of the
Oh,
tech as you
yep,
can.
nope.
It's done.
And you brought your mate here.
Your
fragile
mate?
human mate who does not have any of our powers. And then you lost her.
Dad! I'm chasing! Stay away from my friends.
Dude, there's a lot of kryptonite around.
Superman.
Who is that?
Without your people's weapons,
Is that Metallo?
would not have been able to build.
Jeez! That's a lot of kryptonite! Yeah, I like the kryptonite effect on it. Yeah, because it's still in the power core. Oh yeah! Yeah, that makes sense.
Not anymore.
Oh, wow! So I assume probably the Fortress of Solitude is going to be like half of the ship? So this is the fortress of the ship. Dang. This is an interesting looking fortress.
No! I forgot to post on Flavor. Oh, Pear's gonna kill me.
Take the plane. I'll wait with Clark.
This ship's communication beacon was destroyed, but there is another in the dimensional gateway sent here 22 years ago. Find it and use it to find Kara, my boy. You have turned your power into a shield for the helpless. You have filled your life with love. You are more than I could have ever hoped for.
Ag.
Lois,
But
does it ever bother you that I'm not human?
Does it ever bother you that I am?
fair question.
You are perfect the way you are.
Please help me save my dad.
Your dad? The general?
I heard Waller talking. They're holding my dad prisoner. All because he listened to me. And I know it's a lot to ask.
I'd do anything for you, Lois.
How?
And we've got
Fuck.
all the time in the
Kryptonite
world.
sword. Is that Zod? I'm pretty sure that's who that is. Okay, so what did you think of that episode?
It was good.
I thought it was a pretty good start for season 2. So okay, so it seems like the main focus of this season is Clark has to go find Kara out in space, and they also have to save Lois's dad from Waller. I'm assuming the guy we saw who was the big beefy dude was Metallo, and obviously that was Deathstroke too. Okay, here's my question. In the hologram, they explained that, okay, the reason that Jor-El couldn't speak English was because the translation that was on the ship was damaged when the ship crashed into Earth, and it took years for it to decipher. But because he was speaking in Kryptonian, Clark couldn't understand him, so he just assumed he was just a dangerous person, which realistically makes sense. But what I'm interested about is when they showed Kara leave Krypton, she was a baby, I think, maybe. So then the question is, did she leave like how she typically leaves in like continuity, where she's like a teenager, and then she was just in her ship the entire time and was frozen until she's now wherever she is in space, fighting people or whatever she's doing? And I assume if that's the case, she didn't crash on Earth. I assume that's probably what they're going to do in the James Gunn movie, where I think how they're going to do the Supergirl in the James Gunn movie is that they said that she's going to live on a chunk of Krypton. So like a chunk of it that exploded but is like somewhat still intact. somehow. And like some Kryptonians are living on it, but they're dying out until like I guess they send Kara somewhere else, and then she's just wherever she is for a while, and maybe because wherever she is or she's in the ship or something, she doesn't age. So then when she sees her cousin, she's the same age, but he's an adult. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it seems like in this she left as a baby, which means they're both the same age in this. So that would mean that not only would she not be a teenager, which is different than usual, but she would be much more different character-wise than him, which would just show the stark differences between the two of them. But I'm curious. Okay, here's my hope. I hope that Supergirl becomes a main character in this, and she's just not like a recurring character that just comes in and out of a season, like how they typically do it. Because I really like both of them as characters, and we don't see enough of them together outside of comic books. Like, I think the only other time we saw the two of them together was in the Supergirl show. Other than that, we don't really see them together often until, like, the James Gunn movie comes out. But I really want to see more of them together more often, so I hope that she becomes a main character in this season. But I'm really curious to see how different she is, because I was watching some of the interviews and stuff that they were doing to promote the show before it came out, and I told you earlier in the episode that they couldn't use Lex Luthor previously because they wanted to focus on different Superman villains first before they just introduced Lex, which makes sense. There are more Superman villains out there despite Lex Luthor or Brainiac or Doomsday, who are like the three main notable ones. So I think it makes sense. But they confirmed in the trailer that the guy with the full head of hair and the glasses was Lex in the trailer. So it makes sense that that's who that is. But I'm curious how Lex is going to like gain power in this, because he doesn't have anything. Like, he has no money, he has no company. He worked with Ivo, who doesn't have anything either. So I'm curious how he's gonna gain all his like influence.
That was him in season 1?
Yeah, that was him, because he was Ivo's assistant until they said earlier in the episode when he's trying to work for Star Labs, they said, no, you can't work here because you helped your boss try to destroy the city. So no, but I'm wondering how he's gonna gain his influence that he gets, which would be interesting to see how that works. But I'm also interested to see Kara's dynamic with the characters, because I assume what they're probably going to do is, if Supergirl does become a main character in this show, she's probably going to be in a relationship with Jimmy. And because they're so wildly different, I'm curious how that dynamic is going to work. Because, they usually are together in the comics sometimes, so it's not abnormal. But I know that in the comics, he's currently with Silver Banshee, which is weird. I don't know why they're doing that, but I guess it's a thing. Yeah, they've been together in the comics before. They kind of teased it a little bit in the Superman 90s show when they would work together, but it wasn't like a thing they followed through with. And plus, like later on in Justice League, she went with Brainiac, so she was just with Brainiac. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they do Supergirl in this show. And I'm also curious to see how the characters are going to grow and change as this goes on. But yeah, pretty much the things that they've really talked about when it comes to promoting the season, where they were talking about how their character arcs are going to go, but obviously not spoiling it, how Supergirl is going to be similar to what we've all seen of her, but wildly different than any version we've seen of her, which just based off the fact that it seems like she left Krypton as a baby is the biggest difference. So I'm curious how they're going to do that, but I've talked on long enough. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was good. Sorry I haven't been laughing enough because I'm a little bit tired. But I thought it was good. I like Jor-El in the show.
Yeah, he was a lot funnier than I've ever seen before. Like, Jor-El has never been that sassy, ever. But I think it's an interesting change for his character. Because, everything about this show is new and different, so... But they keep, I think this is the best interpretation of Superman in recent years, because they're not afraid of making differences to characters, but they're not completely different. They still keep the essence of what makes the characters, but they change it to fit their current plot. And I like that. with this show of how they've done it so far. But
Bro, who that big nigga, bro?
I'm curious. I'm pretty sure that's Metallo. Like,
Bro, don't do
that's who
Metallo like that.
Because that's who I assume it is. Because like Metallo's always just been like a normal sized robot. Like he's never been like any other size. So I mean,
Hey.
I mean,
Remember that Superman 90s show? We gotta take this back to the hood.
that shit was so ridiculous.
Bro, do not let that release today, bro.
That shit was so ridiculous. But I'm also curious about I'm also curious
about the Brainiac stuff though.
Yeah, because like we did see Brainiac last season. We saw like a tease of him at the end of the season.
I don't even.
He was in like a full cloak or something.
Oh, okay.
But
was
he had
that
like,
what they showed at the end of this episode, or was that somebody?
no, it was that was Zod, I think, because he was also in the finale last season, and they said
this.
Yeah, and they said because he said in like
He didn't even look like nobody.
Because he's just wearing a suit. Because like this is him like away from the sun, so he probably doesn't have like full Kryptonian powers either. Oh, is this at the end of the post credits? Hold on. Shit.
No.
Shit. Damn it.
When you're the third wheel in a relationship.
I mean, he likes being a third wheel. My mom answered that. But yeah, like my mom answered that. But yeah, I thought this was a really good episode, a really good start to the season. So I am curious. We're gonna jump into the next episode because we got 2 episodes today. So without further ado, we are going to check that episode out. If you guys enjoyed this first episode and premiere of My Adventures of Superman Season 2, let us know in the comments down below what your favorite part of this episode was. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Drop a like on the video for your boy. Hit the subscribe button to be part of the community. Hit bell notifications so you guys know when we shall post next. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.